Imagine being just 5 years old and waking up in a hospital bed after your first plastic surgery. Not for beauty, but for survival. From heartbreaking birth defects to dangerous accidents, these are the real stories of children whose faces were forever changed by the scalpel. Some fought to look normal, others to live at all. This isn't about vanity, it's about pain, pressure, and the power of transformation. Today, we're diving into the world of 15 kids who faced the unimaginable and came out stronger. But be warned, some of these stories may break your heart. The real-life Little Mermaid. Have you ever imagined what it would be like if a real health mermaid existed? Well, there was a girl named Rose Siren, lovingly called the Little Mermaid because she was born with her legs fused together from thigh to ankle, just like a mermaid tail. This rare condition shocked doctors. At first, they only planned to separate her legs up to the knees, but after a successful first surgery, they managed to separate both legs completely. Still, the road ahead wasn't easy. Her legs were kept bound for days to heal, and doctors weren't sure if she'd ever be able to walk. But Rose showed incredible courage. With more surgeries, she slowly began to move her knees. Doctors hoped she'd be able to walk within 2 years. But her journey was far from over. Rose's condition didn't just affect her legs. It damaged her internal organs too. Her digestive and reproductive systems needed major repairs, and her kidneys were in critical shape. One kidney was badly formed, and the other didn't grow properly. Doctors believed she would need around 15 years of surgeries just to survive. Still, Rose defied the odds. She smiled through the pain, amazed everyone with her strength, and lived much longer than anyone expected. But in a heartbreaking twist, her life ended during childbirth at the age of 15. Her story is a mix of sadness, courage, and a kind of quiet heroism the world will never forget. The Boy with a Shell. Turtle Boy's unbelievable transformation. Imagine being called Turtle Boy just because of a huge, painful mole on your back. That's exactly what happened to Didier Montalvo, a young boy from Colombia. Born with a rare skin condition called CMN, Didier had a giant mole that looked like a turtle's shell, covering most of his back. It didn't just hurt, it made his skin itchy and caused constant pain. But that wasn't the worst part. In his village, people wrongly believed he was cursed. They thought his condition came from his mother looking at a solar eclipse while pregnant. Because of this, they avoided him, and he wasn't allowed to go to school or even be baptized. As the mole kept growing, doctors feared it could become cancer or harm Didier's brain. His family didn't have money for treatment, and things looked hopeless until a local newspaper shared his story. Kind strangers donated money, and a famous plastic surgeon named Neil Bulstrode stepped in to help. Didier went through several difficult surgeries, including skin grafts, to remove the massive mole. It was risky and done in stages, but it worked. Thanks to the surgery and the kindness of strangers, Didier finally got the chance to live like any other kid, free from pain, fear, and the label of Turtle Boy. Balded for his ears, Logan's life-changing surgery. Imagine being just 12 years old and dreading school every day. That was Logan Hanna's life. He had big, noticeable ears, and his classmates made fun of him constantly, calling him cruel names like elephant ears. Logan tried to hide them by growing his hair longer, but nothing worked. The teasing never stopped, and slowly, it began to crush his confidence. He stopped smiling, started avoiding people, and felt embarrassed about how he looked. It broke his parents' hearts to see him suffer like this. But then came hope. Logan's parents took him to Dr. Steve Bird, a plastic surgeon in Dallas who specialized in ear surgery, also called otoplasty. The procedure took just 2 hours, 1 hour for each ear. A week later, when the bandages were removed, something amazing happened. Logan looked in the mirror, smiled wide, and said something he had never said before. "I look good." For the first time in his life, he felt proud of how he looked. That simple surgery didn't just change his ears, it changed his whole world. Little Murphy's brave battle with a rare face. Imagine being a little kid and having strangers constantly stare at your face. That was Murphy's life from the very beginning. When he was born, his parents noticed something strange. His bottom lip looked too big, and his chin had a strange color. At first, they thought it might go away on its own. But as Murphy grew, so did the swelling on his lip. People often thought he was hurt, and his parents became more and more worried. After many doctor visits, they finally got an answer. Murphy had something called a venous malformation. It's a condition where blood vessels don't form properly, and it made his lip grow much larger than normal. With each passing day, Murphy's condition made life harder. Doctors tried treating it with special injections, but nothing worked well enough. The only real hope left was surgery, so the family packed their bags and headed to New York City to meet Dr. Milton Ware, a top surgeon. After hours in the operating room, Dr. Ware carefully removed the damaged blood vessels. The results were life-changing. Murphy's face finally looked normal, and he could smile without worry. Thanks to the surgery, he no longer had to deal with unwanted attention or whispers. Murphy was finally free to live like any other happy, healthy kid. A baby covered in birthmarks, but his family never gave up. Imagine being born with birthmarks covering almost your entire body, 80% of your skin. That's what happened to little Artyom Aristokasyan. From the moment he was born, doctors feared the worst. His condition was so severe they even told his parents to let him go, but his parents didn't listen. They saw more than the dark, raised marks, called navi, that covered his skin. They saw a baby worth fighting for. And even when they learned that Artyom also had spina bifida, a serious condition that would require surgery, they never gave up. Artyom's journey was not easy. The birthmarks weren't just on his skin. Some affected his brain, causing seizures. He went through a long surgery and spent 5 days in the hospital recovering. But when he finally came home, he was welcomed with open arms. His siblings were confused at first, asking if he had chocolate on his face. But once they learned about his condition, they became his biggest protectors. Today, Artyom still faces challenges, but thanks to his family's love and strength, he moves forward with courage and hope. The real-life Pinocchio boy who inspired everyone. Imagine being compared to a cartoon character your whole life, just because of how you look. That's exactly what happened to a young boy named Ali Triska from Wales. People called him Pinocchio because he had a big nose that stood out, but the reason was heartbreaking. Ali was born with a rare medical condition where part of his brain pushed through a gap in his skull, making his nose look larger than normal. When he was born, his mother was shocked to see a golf ball-sized bump on his nose. Still, she loved him deeply from the very first moment. Even though he had trouble breathing and looked different from other kids, his family focused on celebrating what made him special, not what made him stand out. But things got more serious as Ali grew older. His breathing problems worsened, and doctors said he needed surgery, or he might get dangerous infections. In 2014, brave little Ali went through a 2-hour operation to remove the fluid and reshape his nose. His mother was scared, but she knew it had to be done. After the surgery, Ali was left with a big scar, but that didn't stop his bright smile. He bounced back stronger, and soon, people stopped focusing on his nose and started seeing the happy, playful boy he really was. Ali's story is a powerful reminder that what's inside us, our courage, love, and spirit, is what truly makes us beautiful. The Girl with the Clown Nose, Connie's inspiring story. Imagine being born with a nose that makes people laugh, not in a fun way, but in a cruel, teasing way. That was the reality for Connie Lloyd, a little girl born with a rare condition called a hemangioma, a non-cancerous tumor made up of blood vessels. At first, doctors didn't even notice anything. But just one day after birth, a red spot appeared on her nose. Within a month, it had grown over 1.5 inches wide, bright red like a clown's nose. Kids at school bullied her, calling her mean names. To make things worse, doctors told her parents there was no cure, and if she ever bumped or scratched it, she could bleed dangerously. But Connie's story didn't end in sadness. It turned into a fight for hope. Her mother refused to accept no for an answer. After endless searching, she found a surgeon who specialized in facial conditions. With great care, the tumor was removed through surgery, leaving just a tiny scar. And with that, Connie's life changed. No more cruel stares, no more bullying, Just a happy little girl who could finally play, smile, and make friends like every child deserves. Her clown nose is gone. From teasing to triumph, Elise's life-changing surgery. Imagine being called shark, toucan, or even hammerhead just because of your nose. That was Elise Chaddock's daily reality. At school, her classmates constantly made fun of the shape of her nose, and the mean nicknames slowly crushed her self-esteem. Elise would come home and cry in her room, feeling alone and hopeless. She didn't just feel hurt, she felt like her appearance had taken over who she was. Watching her daughter suffer, Elise's mother knew something had to change. That's when she contacted Dr. Michael Nickel from the Magic Mirror Foundation, a group that offers free cosmetic surgery to kids who are bullied. After a 2-hour surgery, Elise opened her eyes, and her whole world changed. When she saw her new nose for the first time, her face lit up with happiness. The teasing at school finally stopped. But more importantly, Elise no longer felt ashamed of herself. She walked into school with confidence, smiling freely for the first time in years. While cosmetic surgery is often seen as just a beauty tool, Elise's story reminds us it can also be a powerful way to heal. The brave boy who got a new face. Imagine being just 9 years old and facing a surgery that could change your entire face. That's the story of a brave boy named Saleo. He was born with a very rare condition called a craniofacial cleft, which meant his face didn't grow in the usual way. His nose wasn't formed properly, his bones were misaligned, and it made both breathing and seeing difficult. Doctors said he needed surgery to live a normal life, so, with incredible courage, Saleo went into a 7-hour operation where surgeons carefully moved his bones and completely rebuilt his nose. But what happened next was truly heartwarming. When Saleo woke up and looked in the mirror, he couldn't stop smiling. For the first time, he saw the face he had always dreamed of. The surgery didn't just fix his appearance, it gave him a new sense of confidence. The hospital even surprised him with a visit from his favorite superhero. But the truth is, Saleo was the real superhero all along. His strength and bravery inspired everyone around him, showing that true courage comes from the heart. Livy Coleman, the brave girl who beat the odds. Imagine being born with joints that don't stay in place, your knees, elbows, even fingers bending the wrong way. That was the reality for a young girl named Libby Coleman. She was born with a rare condition called Larsen syndrome, which made her bones grow differently and caused her joints to dislocate. Walking, moving, even simple tasks were painful and difficult. Her parents were heartbroken watching her struggle every day, especially as she grew and the pain didn't go away. But Libby? She didn't give up. Her spirit stayed strong even when her body tried to hold her back. Libby's life began to change when her family moved to the United States and found doctors who truly understood her condition. With courage and hope, Libby went through several surgeries to fix her joints and reduce the pain she lived with daily. Recovery wasn't easy, but she kept smiling through it all. Thanks to medical care and the love of her family, Libby became more active and independent. Today, she's not just walking, she's inspiring others. Her journey proves that with strength, support, and a little help, even the toughest challenges can be overcome. Miracle Baby Sloan, from tumor to triumph. Imagine seeing your newborn baby with half her face covered by a massive tumor. That's exactly what happened when baby Sloan was born. The doctors diagnosed her with a hemangioma, a non-cancerous lump made of tangled blood vessels. But this was no small bump. It was so big that it affected how Sloan moved her face and even her muscles. Her parents were heartbroken but stayed strong. They refused to give up on their little girl and started a long journey to help her heal. By the time Sloan was just 2 years old, she had already been through 9 major surgeries. One of the most important ones was done in New York City by Dr. Milton Venner, who carefully worked to remove the tumor without damaging her tiny nerves and muscles. During their visit, Sloan's family met ESPN anchor Hannah Storm, who had started a charity to help families like theirs. Thanks to her help and the amazing doctors, Sloan now has a chance to grow up without scars from her early struggles. Her parents say they are forever thankful for the kindness, the care, and the second chance their miracle baby was given. The boy with too many teeth. Imagine being just 9 years old and having way more teeth than a normal person. That's the story of John Chris Caro Curad, a brave boy from Barangay Lukdumanjug. He was born with a rare condition called hyperdontia, which causes extra teeth to grow in the mouth. But in John's case, it was extreme. So many teeth grew that it caused pain, made it hard to chew, and affected how he looked. Dentists had to perform several surgeries to remove the extra teeth, and some were so hard to take out that they had to be removed in small pieces. It wasn't just about his smile. These surgeries helped him eat properly and avoid serious dental problems. But here's the amazing part. Despite all these challenges, John Chris never gave up. He goes to school like any other kid and dreams of becoming a civil engineer one day. Even though more surgeries are still ahead, he stays strong and hopeful. His story isn't just about a medical condition. It's about courage, strength, and never letting anything stop you. John Chris is living proof that even when life gives you something rare and difficult, you can still smile and dream big. A new face, a new life. Fatma's inspiring journey. Imagine being born with a face that didn't form the way it should, yet still smiling through it all. That's Fatima, a cheerful little girl with a bright spirit. Fatima was born with a rare condition called craniofacial anomaly, which affected the shape of her skull, nose, and right eye. Her forehead and cheek on one side didn't grow properly, and her right eye could only sense light. This condition affects only about 1 in every 5,000 babies. From just 8 months old, she faced surgeries to help fix her face. But her toughest battle wasn't just medical, it was also surviving war. Her family had to flee Syria during the Civil War, searching for better treatment and hope. The real turning point came when they arrived in the United States and met Dr. Ruiz, a plastic surgeon who understood facial struggles firsthand. In December 2017, he performed a major surgery using Fatima's own bone to rebuild part of her face. Then, in 2018, he added a special device to stretch her skin so it could be shaped more naturally. With each surgery, Fatima's face began to transform. Her features became more balanced and her confidence grew stronger. Today, she still needs a few touch-ups, but the hardest part is behind her. Fatma's story is more than just about surgeries. It's about bravery, hope, and the power of never giving up. The boy who beat bullying with a brave decision. Imagine being just 6 years old and already afraid to go to school. That was Gage Berger's life. Kids made fun of his ears, calling him names like elf ears. The bullying hurt so much that Gage started hiding from others and even tried to push his ears back in the mirror, hoping it would stop the teasing. His parents noticed how sad and quiet he had become, and it broke their hearts. They knew something had to change, and fast. That's when they found a special doctor, Dr. Stephen Mobley, who helps kids like Gage through free surgeries. Gage bravely said yes to a procedure that would reshape his ears. He even brought his favorite stuffed animal, Ty, who got a mini surgery too. After just 2 hours, everything changed. When Gage saw his new ears in the mirror, he lit up with the biggest smile. He went back to school feeling proud and happy, and the bullying stopped. Gage's story proves that sometimes a little help can give a child their whole world back. The boy with 2 faces. H. Kang's unbelievable journey. Imagine seeing your baby for the first time and realizing something was terribly wrong. That's what happened to Yan Shay when her son H. Kang was born in China. He had a rare condition called transverse facial cleft, which made it look like he had 2 faces. The family was shocked. Even though doctors had done ultrasounds during pregnancy, they had seen nothing unusual. But the truth hit hard. H. Kang's face was severely affected, and fixing it wouldn't be easy. Doctors at a hospital in Hunan province tried to help, but early surgeries didn't work. His family felt hopeless, watching their child grow up different and in pain. But just when things seemed impossible, something amazing happened. Thanks to public donations, H. Kang was able to get help. In 2010, he had 2 life-changing surgeries to rebuild his face. It wasn't an instant fix. His face still needed time to grow and heal properly. Doctors said it could take 10 more years to fully know how successful the surgeries were. But the first changes were already a big step forward. Today, his story is one of hope, courage, and never giving up. His family continues to stand by him, doing everything they can to give him a normal and happy life. What do you think about plastic surgery in children? Behind every scar is a story, and these kids carry stories more powerful than most adults ever will. Whether it was life-saving surgery, emotional healing, or a step towards self-acceptance, each journey shows just how far we'll go for hope. So, what do you think? Should extreme plastic surgery in kids be encouraged or questioned? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, give this video a like if you were moved, and don't forget to subscribe, because the world is full of stories the textbooks never tell. We'll see you in the next one.